so much things to say. Live series, um, it's it's important that we, as much as we can, no matter where we are geographically, find ways to connect, communicate, collaborate, and just have meaningful dialogue around the things that can save our lives, change our lives, transform our lives, or just merely make our lives better. So I'm honored. And I don't take any of these situations for granted. I don't take any of the platforms that I am blessed to be on for granted. And whether it is one person to 100 people, I'm going to show and be as authentic, be as real, be as deep and intimate, and also at the same time facilitate the spark to enhance and expand consciousness around what it means to be fully human and honoring the dignity that is bestowed upon the people by the creator and the creator itself. As I was hope building this whole thing out, I had a vision of just doing a live, but I didn't understand, nor did I know how I wanted the live to be. And a part of me walking in by faith is not overthinking it, not over analyzing, not applying too much structure and too much prompting into the flow and the layout of this situation. I wanted to come in here and I wanted to really test the limits of my visibility, of my voice, and I wanted to bridge the my research, my study, my search, my continuous development in enhancing my spiritual identity, my spiritual awareness. And I wanted to bring that into a more just chill, informal setting. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we are doing this because initially I was really scared of doing this. And I was like, you know what? There's no need to. There's no need to walk in fear. There's no need to have this come so perfect and so pristine without any flaws. No, 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 no. We're gonna come in and we're just gonna start it and we're gonna see how the spirit moves. We want to hear from people. We want to include feedback and input, questions, comments, and any inquiries. And we want to use this medium to really cultivate a discussion based forum. Um, and if that means that I have to, step off the cliff a bit and try to channel my own ideas and my own thoughts and my own opinions, and then disseminate that truthfully and honestly, then I'll do that. And then hopefully that can be the catalyst for actual community centered um, discussion processes. You know, I was thinking about this poem. I was thinking about this poem that I wrote in the book that I published in 2022, and it's called "The Depths Below." And and this piece in and of itself has a story, just stories of challenge, of discomfort, difficulty, and also stories of the feeling of accomplishment and this experience of euphoria of seeing an idea manifest itself into an actual final product. And this is one of my greatest creations. And even though, now that I look at it now, some, few years later, and I can point out some flaws and point out some minor issues with, flow and layout and structure and all those things. I am still extremely proud of myself for bringing this work into the world. And it really just it's something that I'm just super proud of because not only was this like a self-funded project, but this was something that was born out of me refinding my voice as I was going through the military separation. This was me trying to find who I am and be able to descriptively and expressively know exactly what that is: beliefs, values, attitudes, morals, principles, etc. I really wanted to interrogate those things that I held as true, that I held as close to my heart, that really drove me to accomplish things in the military and have such a very, very, very rich and comprehensive resume. And I was just led by this process of rescuing and restoring and recentering myself in a context that was built on the foundation of self-definition. And so this poem in particular is called The Cloak. And if anybody wants a copy of The Depths Below, it is an independent published um, it's an independent published book. And so therefore you're not going to be able to get it through Amazon retail or Barnes and Nobles or what have you. So I have all the ownership and all the rights to it, and I ship it myself. And so I will also provide the link to purchase this if you would like in the notes of this live at the conclusion of this. You can also on my Instagram and my Instagram bio, you can find the link as well that will take you the um, to the purchasing of the Des Below. But this is called The Cloak. The cloak is powerfully employed to conceal and disguise distorted insight used as a defensive tactic. To disengage, enrage, and infuriate the masses, the cloak defends narrow mindedness and faulty conclusions, giving power to the callous, endorsing their haughty ways and feelings of disdain, inciting self shame for those who subdue their voice and perpetuating the continuum effects of the depraved and enslaved. Well, how can you counteract this defensive attack on character and morality? The double edged sword brings power to the weak and courage to the meek, as it is wielded relentlessly with superlative intensity from left to right. The two edged sword penetrates and pierces through the fabric of any cloak used in sight. Driven by the acquisition of knowledge, true knowledge emboldens the oppressed to dismantle civil unrest. The proverbial sword is an eternal beacon that serves as a spiritual guiding light. And I remember writing that piece, and the cloak. What really set that piece in motion was the question of, or not even the question, but the issue of the many faces that we have. And I always, as I was conceptualizing how to write that piece and where to go and how to begin and all those things, I mostly just really honed in on the fact that, we live in a world, and we have for many, 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 many years lived in a world, um, especially as Black folks, where we have to be one way in one space, be another way in another space, be another way in another space, be another way in another space. And so now we have all these fragmented pieces of ourselves, um, that has to adapt to particular situations around particular people in particular environments. And we can only really be our whole core self when we feel the most connected, feel the most safe, feel the most non threatened, feel the most at ease and regulated. And so when I was writing this piece, I was using the cloak to represent, uh, what we hide behind, what is the instrument that's used to really conceal the trueness of our nature, the trueness of our being. And the double-edged sword is symbolized more so as, um, the way to penetrate through the cloak in order to get to the core self, to get to the real, authentic, raw person behind the cloak, who's using the cloak to evade, to hide, to run away, to just, and have found comfort in that cloak. And now I know that, having many faces in this society, in this world, especially a world that has been ridden with anti-Black racism and colonialism and all types of phobias and isms, that it's very safe, very protective to have the many faces. Then it doesn't denote a bad thing to have the many faces. And it becomes more so, a default way of being, though, when we don't know when to take it off and show our real selves. And so in the times and in the spaces and with the people that we should be our most whole, our most integrated, our most present, we're still wearing the mask from the workplace. We're still wearing the mask, as we are walking down the sidewalks and entering grocery stores and entering shopping malls. Um, we're still wearing the mask if we're taking public transportation. We're still wearing the mask when we are in unfamiliar places with people that we care about, or even if we're in unfamiliar places by ourselves. And so it becomes very normative for us to keep the mask on. And that was something that I wanted to find meaning as I am continuously delayering myself and exposing myself to all of the elements of, you know, self judgment, self criticism, and all of that. I'm at the same time just trying to find ways like, how do I penetrate through all of these layers, especially the artificial layers that are protecting but also keeping me from accessing what is true to me, what is honest, and also knowing when to let it down and show myself wholly and fully in all of my light. And so that's a very special piece to me, the cloak, um, with its remedy being the double-edged sword. Um, and I do wonder for all of who's going to be watching this and a part of this is how many faces do you have? And I don't ask that question as a rhetorical question. I ask that question as a for real question. How many faces do you have? How many masks do you wear? Because that type of question then has what will transplant you into all the different spaces and places where you are relating and interacting and communicating. And it really gets you to think when you can maybe picture yourself in those spaces and places and with those people. Am I showing up as my true authentic self? And if I'm not, do I understand why? Is it because I experience some invalidations? Is it because that I get these gazes of contempt? I get these gazes of disapproval? Is it because I've actually been in an actual situation to where my blackness or my diversity in essence has been reduced, diminished, undervalued? Is the weight of society and all of its ways of persuading us that white is the normal, white normal middle class is the normal, white normal middle class Christian is the normal, white normal middle class Christian heterosexual is the normal, white middle class heterosexual Christian uh, male cisgender is the normal. As the society continues to perpetuate those images and those messages of what is normal and what is not, am I feeling that? And am I holding on to that in the spaces and the places that I am coming and going? And when I am in these spaces and places that I do feel safe and feel the most connected, and I do feel the most loved and held and respected, how am I showing up? And if that's a lot to sit with, that's okay. Take a breath, blow it out. Take another breath, blow it out. And just notice. Notice if you're being pulled towards meaning. Notice if you're being pulled away. Notice if there is any confliction within your body or any tension in your body that's saying, no, 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 that's too much to bear. That's too much to handle. Our bodies send signals to us all the time. Whether you have, whether you have a lot of pain and tightness in your hips, or if you walk around and your shoulders is almost touching your earlobes, if you are feeling the difficulty in twisting and turning and bending, yeah, those could definitely be medical conditions, but at the same time, they are also signaling to you that there are some stories, some narratives, some some information that you must attend to. because our body holds the entirety of our life story and our ancestors' life story. And a lot of the times we would just look at, we were because we're going, going, going. And I am guilty as charged when it comes to this going, going, going. And we are not tending to our body when it's screaming and it's shouting. And all we're doing is compartmentalizing and then maintaining full speed ahead. And Audre Lorde says this. Audre Lorde says that to care for oneself is not selfishness or not self-centeredness. It is a act of self-preservation, and that is political warfare. Resting when tired is not failure. Finding finding alternative means of movement, finding alternative means to harnessing energy within your body, increasing your blood flow, being connected to the kinetic chain reaction that's happening in your muscles and in between your muscles and your ligaments and your joints and all of that is 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 healing. It's medicinal. And so if we're having a hard time taking off that mask, and we got a lot of them, and we wear them everywhere we go, we do need to start looking at ways in which we can put that mask down, even if it is for a micro moment. What it is that my body, my ancestral intelligence need in order to feel freedom. Is that exercise? Is that walking? Is that gardening? Is that writing? Is that painting? Is that singing? Is that dancing? Is that a therapist? Is that spending more time with the people you love and cherish, respect, and trust? Is that more solitude? Is that more reading? I don't know. And believe me, I am still searching for identity, searching for what it is that makes me feel whole and complete in a world that invalidates my walk, my talk, my dress, my spirit, my rhythm, and my skin color. So I want to keep these around 20 minutes. It's already almost 25. I want to say thank you, be blessed, and I want to leave you with these words. Be as calm and as forceful as the four winds, be as strong, as formidable as the mountains, be as generative as earth soil, be as ever flowing as the river waters, and be as life giving, life sustaining as the sun. This is Brother KD. So much things to say, live series. See you next Wednesday. Peace.